We look at introductory representation and union management and administration. We look at management essentials and the challenges facing union as it is, and then some suggested way forward for RATTAWU. Now, by way of introduction, all over the world, trade unions had always represented the vanguard of the working class. In other words, trade union is all about representation, and that we must understand. It's all about representation. So if anybody emerge as a union leader, what is underlined, what should be at the back of your mind is that you are a representative as union leader. So union has been on the vanguard of the working class, and what union has always canvassed on is the workers' interest. And in the activities of union, any deviation from protecting the interests of the workers is no longer union activities. So union has always come together to stand against capitalist exploitation. And historically, in Nigeria, for example, the first mention of union in Nigeria was in Monday, August 1912. That was when 4 individuals, a Sierra Leonean with 3 other Nigerians, came together so that they thought about forming a union. And as far as 1912, and since that time, it has always been one union coming together and to the other. And all along, it has been the representation and protection of the interests of workers. Now, we now see that even in Nigeria, over the years, the activities of union is not only limited to protecting workers' interests. Union has occupied the role of advocate for the downtrodden in the society. And as it is now, it's almost the union that we can recognize as the most vocal opposition that we have in Nigeria. And that's why when union talks, people want to listen. That is the power, the essence of union. So in a nation like our own Nigeria, union perform beyond the traditional role of protecting workers' interests. And they fight anti-people decision in Nigeria. Of recent, we are all witness to it. Even what we're going through in Nigeria as a nation, we know that it is only the voice of the union that seems to be louder. Even though those voices are suppressed, yet they still speak out. And that shows us the importance of union. And in our various organizations, and as a union, RATTAWU, like I've given the background history, we should take the role we occupy, or for several roles we occupy as leader, very important to know that we represent interests, not only of the worker, but the society. They look at us. And that is what union is all about. And Nigerian trade union movement, they've had rich tradition of protecting and advancing the interests and the faith of Nigerian workers. Now, how does the union, how did they emerge? When we talk about union, we are also talking about collectivity. When you hear union, what underlies the strength of the union is what? The collectivity of the workers. And that is why one of the slogans of union is we. How do you respond? We. That is union for you. In other words, the strength of the union lies in the collectivity of all the workers. And one of the challenges that I'm going through to RATTAWU is that you have to double the effort At a point, RATTAWU had a very large number of members. But suddenly, the membership dropped. And the implication is that once membership of your union continue to decrease, what is happening? The strength of the union is getting weakened. And it is a global trend that we don't emphasize so much on capitalism these days because it's almost difficult to know the difference between where a capitalist is and a socialist because of the commonality of wealth. So, but what I'm saying is that it is a global trend that most organizations all over the world, they want a leaner union members. In other words, when in an organization, the workers, the employees are divided, maybe you have 30% that join union member, 30% that are neutral, 30% that are unconcerned. You see that you have a divided house. And it is a challenge that collectivity of the worker is so important. And this word collectivity came into existence around 1967 by a Norwegian sociologist. Sorry, 1957, a Norwegian sociologist. And it came about collectivity. And what informed collectivity of the worker? The sociology noticed that in organizations, the strength of stakeholders in organizations are not equal. And he went further to discover that it's not only that these strengths are not equal, it can never be equal. In other words, in an organization, when you look at the balance of strength, one is weightier. You know, when we talk it in labor parlance, we say one has elephant leg versus mosquito leg. Am I communicating, please? Yeah. Elephant leg versus mosquito leg. What are we talking about? We are talking about the strength of the employer when it comes to the issues that affect the worker. And because the strengths are not equal and can never be equal, then the weaker ones must come together. Oh, I want to recognize the presence of our state chairperson, Madam Ceci Awego. Yes. The strengths can never be together. In other words, if the weaker ones do not come together, they can never confront the elephant leg. In other words, how many mosquitoes are you going to combine together to match elephant leg? You know, it's a big challenge. And that is what informs collectivity of the workers. And like I said, as union leader, if you have opportunity to occupy union leader, you should take it very seriously to know that if you lose a member, your strength is decreasing. And so the Norwegian sociology said there is emergence of some organized communities among the subordinates. And what are the subordinates? The workers. They are the weaker ones that comes together. And what are they coming together for? They are coming together to recognize that they have similar and same plight. And you know, in Nigeria, one of the weakness of trade unionism in Nigeria is the division, you know, classifying of union to senior, to junior, to this and that. However, the plight that the union faces remain what? The same. And because, you know, egos start to come into a union. I belong to the senior, you belong to the junior. And that weakens the strength of the union. And so the emphasis of the union should be on we rather than I. In other words, that is, all of us, we who are in the same position. A worker is a worker. That must be understood. And, you know, I need to give this example. You know, so when your occupy management position, even executive position, they feel they are not workers. But there are instances when they are made to realize that they are workers. There was the issue of First Bank some years back, Green Longer was MD, and there was the issue that affected him and the board. And he was suddenly sacked because of business decisions that did not come out successfully. He was sacked. And he had brought to court as an employee, no longer as MD. In the same way, if you can still recollect, the area of Kano at the point who was sitting governor was sacked. He ran to NIC as an employee. So what I'm saying is that workers, when it comes to play of politics, play of strength, workers are what? On the weaker side. And that is why we must not allow anything to work against the collectivity of the workers. And so when workers come together, that is the essence of union. Workers' collectivity is all about the aggregation of workers for joint efforts in solving issues of common interest at workplace and in the wider society, protecting and defending their rights and interests, helping to improve workers' standard of living and welfare of their family. Now, there are 5 substantive issues that are the center of workers' collectivity. And what are these issues? 1, we have issue of wages and material remuneration. Very important. Now, when you work, when you look at it, the whole essence of a worker getting employed is to be what? To be paid. And when somebody works, that person deserves wages for the work done. Deserve wages for the work done. And so, sorry, I hope I'm communicating with you. I hope I'm not doing that.
On stage, Dr. Shadow Musa to receive his award. So we have a video.
56 local and global with over 156 local and global awards to his name and counting. Honorable Dr. Olusegun M. Musa is a corporate titan, seasoned technocrat, eminent philanthropist, and consummate maritime practitioner of over 3 decades. He was 2019 Lagos State gubernatorial candidate under the Advanced National Democratic Party, ANDP. He is the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Wide Scope Group, an award-winning international group of companies spanning aviation, maritime, media, and project management, amongst others, with foothold across 5 countries on 3 continents. He is also the chairman and chief consultant of global transport policy an international sector-specific bilingual quarterly compendium that captures all the modes of transportation, dissecting critical issues and preferring innovative solutions with cross-cutting analysis. He is a highly sought-after keynote speaker and an industry veteran. He is a Paul Harris Fellow. He is a patron of the prestigious Nigerian Football Supporters Club. He has served as the chairman of National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, Murtala Mohammed International Airport Chapter, Ikeja, Lagos, for 12 years, where his exceptional service to advance the association was greatly felt, with the execution of milestone projects to better position members. He was also nominated as one of the 50 beacons in the Nigerian maritime industry. He is a senior fellow of the Institute of Administrative Management of Nigeria and an active member and pace setter. He has been involved in a lot of humanitarian and humanistic services based on his unflinching passion to support and continue to drive change, from donating to charity homes to taking kids off the streets into private schools in order to ensure quality education. His vision for a better nation has remained a self-imposed mandate. He is a devout Muslim and happily married with children.
Dr. Lagos State Public Food Session to please come on stage. Sir, Dr. after your board, you're going to launch the book to tell us what you're going to support. That is too good. Solidarity! Initiative of August 2024. As this to the book launch, and the union RATTAWU has provided. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me start by tendering my sincere apology for coming here late. I arrived there from Abuja this morning, and I have to quickly tidy up one or two things before coming. I really apologize. Please pardon. The book here, it's about workers' interest and organizational survival. I would have loved to participate at the panelist discussion because I pick special because it talks about not only welfare, but it talks about what makes every organization the workers. The starting point of every organization are the workers. The happiness of the workers is the profit of the employer. Any economy that is prospering, go and check the workers are not well motivated. Without you pushing the worker, once you give them the sense of belonging and you give them the tools to work, they will perform beyond your expectation. When I was contesting for governorship in 2019, one of my cardinal discussion at most of the debates, I always base it on how do we enhance the workers. I'm not saying this because you are here, but Nigeria is having the most dedicated workers. I'm privileged to have offices in 3 continents of the world, and I know how hardworking Nigerians are. If you, in your absence, you allow your workers to do the job on your behalf, they will perform better than you. And that's the beauty of you giving them all necessary encouragement to make them work. We have the best among you, and we continue supporting you. I won't bore you with speeches, but I'm not a guest speaker. Otherwise, I would have taken the whole day to talk on this topical issue, but it's very jamming. I will launch this book with a token, and bear with me. Since last Friday, I've been receiving an award. I don't know why, but it's divine. This is the 4th award I'm receiving within a week. And this makes it 169th award. I will.
Let's start from him. There's something I picked about him. This man has been doing free training for LASMA, police officers, for military people. I must say thank you. This award, I feel you deserve more than this. And I want to thank you very much for coming. God bless you, sir.
The award is for the National President, RATTAWU, and to receive the award on his behalf is the National Treasurer, Public and the Organizer. A round of applause. There will be a small citation for the National President. Comrade Dr. Kabiru Sani, born 28 August 1968, in Matagarawa, Katsina State, studied at Sunny Primary School, Matagarawa Government Day Secondary School. He studied at Asan Usman Polytechnic, Katsina, and went on to Miriam Abacha American University, Niger, where he studied where he studied international relations. He's worked at Nigerian History and Culture Bureau. He has worked at the Katsina State History and Culture Bureau. He has served in RATTAWU before becoming president. He has served in various ad hoc committees and mandates. Member Adamawa State 2012 RATTAWU North East Zone, member Electoral Committee, and finally Chairman Lagos State Committee on Land Matters. He loves to play football and to travel. He is married with 9 children. Ladies and gentlemen, the national president, radio, television, theater, and art workers of Nigeria, Comrade Dr. Kabiru Sani. Put your hands together for the presentation of the
on behalf of the national president of our great union, who is unavoidably absent from this occasion, like I did say during the book launch, we have done our donation, and very soon you will see our hand concerning the book launch. We donated 500,000 for the book launch for 20 books. More will even come with this award. So God bless you.
In our union, there have to be a kind of honor to our number one union member and the leader. And that is not thing I'm coming to talk. So join me in the solidarity song. Once again, when the union inspirations through the workers' blood assurance, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Let the cross on earth is without the feeble strength of one. For the union makes.
Victory, there is victory for all. Victory, there is victory for all. In the struggle for our members, there is victory for all. Forward, forward, ever, backward. Welcome back from the launching. I want to commend the effort in putting the book together, especially the copy. Very balanced. Without the interest of the worker, the organization will not survive. Without the survival of the organization, the worker themselves will not survive. So please, let's just, we very limited the slide. One of the strengths is that as weak as Nigerian labor law is currently, the operations and the running of the union. And so as union, the law is so clear as to how the union can operate, what they can do, the limitation. Recently, just 2 days ago, the police invited the NLC, Congress president. It sounds so funny. Because the law is clear, or that can entertain any issue that derives from, derives from the cause of running the unit. So as long as you are performing the role of unionism, playing it as it is, nothing can inhibit you. So the law backs up the activities and running of the unit, and that should be clear to all of us. And that's the part of what we should do. As leaders, we must be knowledgeable, at least above average, on the issue of unionism, on the issue of Nigerian labor law. And the police were ignorant about what the provision of the labor law was, and they just thought he could be intimidated and invited, and the man will surrender. But unfortunately, there couldn't be a headway. So workers' collectivity gives strength, and that strength enables the worker to be able to come together and form a strong body against the capitalism. Now, because of our time, I try to define what trade union is. There are so many definitions of trade union which some of us we are familiar with. This one is just for the purpose of academic. But let's look at it that we need to understand what trade union is all about. And that's why we cannot just gloss over what trade union is. Like I said, some of us, we assume union leadership. We don't even know what the union does. Some of us has equated union activities to political activities that are different. Because a union leader is supposed to render services to the members, represent the interest. Union leader does not tell lie like politicians.
All right.
That is it. That is it. The moment a union leader starts to tell lie, he or she has graduated. It's no longer unionism. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that union is a form of organization of workers who have banded themselves together to achieve common goals in many areas. Now, when we come together, that means we come together because we have common values. We come together because we want to trust each other. And so, for any leader to take for granted that I become a leader, I won election and I'm a leader, and we now want to cause a breach in that trust, that is not good enough. And so trade union is all about the interest of the worker, and at all times, interest of the worker. And that's what trade union is all about. And so this trade union as a major tool to achieve workers' desire of putting an end to and radically transform the society. In other words, if you look at it from the Marxist school of thought, unionism is not just to stop in the workplace. The workers are supposed to come together, organize themselves in such an exemplary way that they will take over the society and reform the society. But unfortunately, I mean, we need to tell you, I have been interacting with you, like I said, over years. I tell the truth. Many of us that occupy union leader, we are not unionists. We're just saying unionism inside can never be a unionist. You can only succeed as a union leader. And that's why we see the kind of luxury some union leaders live at the expense of the workers. That is not trade union. So we need to go back and look at the foundation. What is struggle? The common example we give in Nigeria is Michael Imodo. Michael Imodo, at the point of his death, never had any wealth to showcase to the society. It was the government that put together a 3-bedroom apartment for him. So when you come to participate in union activities and occupy union leadership, forget about wealth. It is not that the union leader should be poor, but the union leader cannot be demonstrating affluence and wealth like politicians do, because it's combination of the trust of the people that union leaders lead. And so we must understand what union is all about. So, I mean, the Trade Union Act 2024 very clear about what union is all about. The union must be a combination, of workers. In other words, when we have union, we must have combination of workers. Wages is wages. If there is unfairness in wages, it doesn't affect a single worker. It affects the general. So trade unionism does not make provision for division. It does not have division. In fact, trade union of Nigeria today, we have faction, we have rivalry, we have this and that. We even have caucus, inside caucus. that's not what trade union is all about. Explain about the Marxist point of view about trade union is when there are the proletariat, that is the workers. And so, like I said, the strengths are not equal. And it's only by some level of balance. And that's what trade union is all about. Now look at the other one. The learning theory is also about that. The only difference between learning theory and Marxist, learning believe that trade union on their own, they cannot grow to maturity. They need training. And the purpose of training is to equip union members, union leaders, so that they can recognize what constitutes right, what constitutes breach in right. That is learning point of view. Now, Sydney and it came about that the strength of the union will give them enablement to negotiate. And that's where we have collective bargaining. In other words, you collect bargain and have a result, not individual. So this story shows that when individuals come together, especially workers, the essence of coming together is to have a formidable group. Coming together, if it is strengthening, there is no limit to what you can achieve to benefit your workers that are your members. So please strengthen into play. Now, what are the objectives of trade union that we have? One, there's all right. That is the truth. So if you are a union leader and you cannot think out of the box presently, you just discover you are not relevant. You just discover you are not relevant. So, and one of the things that union must do, like I said, union must be very sensitive to the changes that is going on around. It's not only in Nigeria, it's not activities. It's easily allowed. It's like for a worker to belong to a union, you need the permission of your employer. You need the permission of your employer. Still true. We call it Employee Free Choice Act. That is in the United States of America. Employee Free Choice Act implies that you can become a union member. That act has not still true up to now. The employer and notify your employer that you want to belong to a union. However, what the law says over there is that you don't share. So if the employer says, well, you want to go into a union, you're on your own, it's an advice union, to run into a union. And so the economic situation in Nigeria now, we must go beyond union rule to see how we can give assistance to the workers. Check out teams. Then maybe 7,000 for senior workers, 3 or 2,000 for the junior workers. It's to the workers. Know what they are doing. So I challenge that as leaders, we must go beyond the traditional role of union, just job security as it is now. Even though we state it, but we know that job security, then the union must be standing. Well, subsidy, but it's grossly misconceived. In fact, there is no way you can tell some that the removal of so that is just it. But then the union stands the gap. And I want to remove fuel subsidy. It was only the union that a threat, NG and all the palliative, what they call palliative. It was because the union raised their voice. Future of trade union. At least if I jump to you, I'm definitely going to give you the paper so that everybody will have it. Thank you. Yeah. Now, what are the features of trade union from what I've said that will divide union? Somebody that belongs to the same industry and they do the same job, or if you tell you wants to rise to a certain position, in fact, the labor law, the trade union act, does not even recognize the senior workers as union. I hope we know that. Yes. When it comes to the issue of going to NIC, you know your status. Are you really a worker or So that is just it. But then the plight of the worker, like I said, remains the same. And so for for any all kinds of interest, economic, political, and social well-being of the workers. The dominant interest of a union is economy. That's the dominant interest. Economic benefit to the members. That's the dominant interest. And then it can only achieve the objective through collective action. And like I said, collectivity is very central to the survival of union. And then the primary function is to protect the interests of workers against discrimination and unfair labor practices. Then we can have some federation of unions, as we have under NLC and TUC. And it must be on a continuous basis. The meaning is that as RATTAWU now, maybe you have a new organization coming up under RATTAWU by virtue of the law that where a union is registered, if you have maybe a new television station, a new radio station, the law empowers you to go there, not at the will of the employer, but because the law has given you that power, you can go there to organize your members. That power is what the law has given. So it's on a continuous basis, and we must continually organize. Now, what does the union do? Now, I've said the union come together. When workers unite, they make things better for everyone. And that is why unions were created to stand up together for fair wages. Now, we said wages is important, but then we also have to look at the issue of decent work. So the union builds workers' power. When we come together, we have stronger strength. They get people to work together. They strengthen their immediate and larger society. Now, I want us to look at the other side. Don't do. For example, it is said there, unions do not take actions that are to their members' detriment. To the detriment of the workers. We have union leaders that sell out. We have union leaders that compromise quietly. They take advantage of their position to receive some benefits that are designed and meant to kill the union. Union don't do that. So if you are a leader, you don't do anything that is against the union. Union do not make decisions without democratic vote of the workers. In other words, it must be we collective and do not compromise for pecuniary benefits for any reason. Meeting with you. At the meeting, they will tell you we understand what you people are saying, but we can manage it in the road and say, just go there, spend 2 weeks, and they pay you money and put you in good hotel. Yet, where they are going, they know it. So if you are not sensitive as a union leader, if you don't read between the lines, before you know it, you are off and you are on the side of the manager. You understand? So, but union do not do that. Activities, protect, and these are things that union does. Because of our time, I have to quickly rush. Then we now come to union leadership and that. And they have political characteristics and seek to influence authorities for the purpose of the lives of the workers, of the members. And what do they do? The primary objective is to bargain, perform the form, and push for good administration at work and good governance in the society. Funny enough, the government is accused. So let government do good and everybody will be happy. So, but irrespective of the opposition by the government, union must, I think it's NTA, some of the workers came together to protest. In fact, they had to lock NTA. I can't remember the year, but I read it. And the manager was saying, we will sack all of them and go home, and they will all go home. You understand? And the state, the whole state, that is, I think it's in Kaduna State. In Kaduna State. The whole state that, I mean, they have to come up and. So what I'm saying, no matter the intimidation, no matter the situation, union voice, then no hope for anybody. And when you look at it, Marxists, Leninists, what they are saying is that as far back as when they are started to convert, they foresaw that workers are taken by employer as slaves. Is the benefit of the master. RATTAWU, you occupy a union leadership position. You must be the mouthpiece of your members. You must represent the employer and the employer. You must ensure that both economic and non-economic interests of your members are satisfied on a continuous basis. That is the present context of the economy excuse me, and business environment brings enormous pressure on the trade union on how to keep themselves aligned with the changes. Like I said, how do you explain it? We saw the process of negotiating for the minimum wage. Our economy continued to go downwards. And you know, the outcome of it, like I said, is so much pressure on you as leaders. But then, without pressure, like I put there, I said, for Radio, Television, and Theatre Art Workers Union of Nigeria, we serve as the nation united. So you must build on that and encourage your members that there is hope, and we are coming to be steadfast, and we will definitely come out. Now, RATTAWU leadership must be trustworthy, respect-worthy, and change-worthy. They must be able to guide their group to achieve success by using strategies which value members and their contribution in addition to stimulating followers and make them feel wanted and truly represented. Very, very important. And in this current dispensation, I call it contextual change, need to be conversant with. One, the economic changes that is going on. We must go beyond conversant with what goes on about privatization, with divestment, restructuring, knowledge and information-based economy is very important, especially your industry. Technology is taking over your industry. You have to be conversant with it. And these members we are talking about, your industry is going to, we may no longer have before it comes into play. So you must be conversant. You must be conversant with political changes in public policies, political decisions, even legislative changes. You must be conversant as leader. You must be conversant with technological changes, as I've said, social changes, rise in unemployment, infrastructural decay, and social protection deficit. You must also be conversant with changing world of work. Now we have workers that we call atypical employee. You know, those people that are employed in a non-conventional way. You have to see. And they can tell you, go and do some work, but there are not enough safety and protective measures that will allow you to do the work. Those are precarious work, and it's all over. And because there is, so they don't mind to do precarious work to survive. Agreement, denial of right at work, unfair labor practices. All these, they are offshoot of the contextual. Now let's look at what are the basic guides. I'm just rushing. What are the basic guides for trade union management and administration? One, we must recognize membership sovereignty. Like I've said, union. So we need to go. We let them be up to date about the activities of the union and let them know the majority. Whenever election is held, that a man must reflect the manner which contains the essentials. What are the essentials of trade union? They are all there. Must be focused on its core union's role and how it manages its activities. The union leadership also need to reflect, evaluate, and adjust the continuing process of keeping the union relevant, serving itself, and fast-track the process of responding to the changing environment in which they find themselves by strengthening the capacity of the members to be able to face. Let them know that there is change going on not only in Nigeria but globally, and they must be able to abide. RATTAWU, the unity and prosperity of the union. Some leader must be encouraged to emerge. RATTAWU must invite the tenets of democracy in their internal administration. Democracy must be allowed to prevail. I said the union, that is RATTAWU, in order to enhance its efficacy in functioning as agent of change, fairness, equality, and as well as socio-economic transformation of their members, they must do away with all forms of nepotism, divisionism, factionalism, and inter-conflict, which is inimical to the good health of the union. RATTAWU must, where necessary, incentivize and empower to participate in union activities and even occupy to permit. And they can reach out to women are great. Yeah. All activities of the union, all activities must be encouraged. Now, finally, for me to round up, said he saw 4 possibilities, and if I have that chance, I'll play it out. There are 4 possibilities. It's either union are finally marginalized, that is, and the last option, revitalization, is what the union needs. You need to revitalize, come to reckoning, to it now. Let us quickly play so that we
Hierbij four scenarios are possible. One is further decline, as I said. This is possible especially when the unions do not find a way to create more support among young people. Then inevitably you have further decline. The other scenario is that unions will become organizations that only represent workers in the formal sector, in the public sector, or maybe in some large organization. It is possible, but of course it is also self-defeating. Then the scenario that unions will be replaced, not totally, but for a large part, by other types of organizations that somehow speak for workers. It is also possible, and it's already happening here and there. And then, of course, the fourth one is, do unions somehow find ways to rejuvenate, revitalize, and so on. I hold these 4 scenarios for equally possible, so we should be prepared for each of them.
associations must renew at all times. Trade union has to do the same. The trade union of yesterday cannot be the trade union of the future. We need to find new ways of organizing. The world in which we are working is changing. So we need trade unions that address the attention of the young people, to the professionals, to the women. Their needs are not the same as the needs of yesterday. So the trade union has to learn and adjust very, very quickly if it has to be relevant to the issues and the interests of the young, of the working people. Issues are becoming very, very difficult. Inequality, lowering of the wages, exploitation is falling upon people. So they need a trade union that clearly understand those issues. The organizational renewal, I think, is going to be the key demand for trade union to remain relevant.
So thank you so much. To go back and rejuvenate and revitalize. Thank you and great.
Round of applause for our speaker, Mr. John Fadden. Thank you very much. You will agree with me that it's been a wonderful learning experience. Very rich, we had very rich resource presence, and it's been impactful. We will definitely have learned a lot. And I did drop a few nuggets, but we'll talk about it as we are back. Everybody's tired. So there is no, the strength of the union is what is in its members. And we attend West Zonal Workshop Gala Nights. Date Friday, 30th August 2024. Times. This event is supported by Visual Industries, Brazil. I have DDI here, RC Cola, Eco FM, and having this gathering. Please, network. It's already on YouTube. The material is already on YouTube. Click definitely. Okay, so I would like to invite our national treasurer. He wants to respond. Yes, to the lecture.
Thank you. Great RATTAWU. Yes. By the time the scholar was passing the message to us, there's one point that I pinpoint. The issue of if you cannot, the future problem we will be facing as a union, that they will try to divide us. Radio Nigeria staff, are you here? Please identify by showing your hand. You are very few, but you can go home with this message. You have already been divided at Radio Nigeria. You want to prove me wrong, I will tell you. You know I'm within you. The issue of this SSA within your organization is killing your union. If you don't know, you go home and go and walk over it. It's only Radio Nigeria that has SSA as well. The construct of RATTAWU has no addendum about membership. The construct of RATTAWU says all workers within the radio, television, motion picture, theater, whatever, it has no addendum. In the university sector, you may have you may have ASU, you may have NASU, you may have Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University. But as far as RATTAWU membership is concerned, there is no addendum. You must belong, even a gateman and the general manager must belong. When I got to level 12 in Radio Nigeria, they started deducting my money to SSA. When I wrote a strongly worded letter to them, I collected all the backlog of 6 months that they used to deduct my money. Till the time I was a level 16 officer, I was still a member of RATTAWU. Thank you.
Okay, so it's sorry. It's not how. Thank you. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can always approach him to share your grievances. Thank you very much. Thank you to all our distinguished guests and to all our delegates this training. And the very first time I met Comrade Dari was at the training at Abeokuta. I never knew who he was. And after the training, I was a secretary and I went with my chairman. And since that time to date, he has continued to believe in capacity building. So just like the speakers have said, take whatever it is you have learned from today's event, go back home, communicate during your congress, communicate to your expos, make sure they are as passionate as you are. Thank you very much. We'll see you by 7 p.m. at the Eco FM multi-purpose hall. Go to Gallery. Look beautiful. And it's a time of networking. Pick a dance partner. Make sure you pick a dance partner. Pick a dance partner. I'm occupied. Sorry, I'm occupied. Pick a dance partner.